the Mega Millions drawing live tonight here on TV 23. Covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV 23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. It is September 25th, 2015. On today's show, Dr. Jack. We're going to be talking high school football. Let's take a look at some news that's happening out there in the area. Well, the Southwest Medical Center Auxiliary Volunteer Team received the Hospital Auxiliaries of Kansas Gold Award for 2015 this month at the Kansas Hospital Association Convention. Now, the Gold Award is the highest level in the Award of Excellence category and is provided to auxiliary groups who go above and beyond to promote community health and assist the hospitals they serve. Now, the Kansas Hospital Association member auxiliaries have more than 7,500 members across 59 participating auxiliary groups in Kansas. Well, studies show that a majority of abused and accidental poisonings are caused by unused prescription medications that are stored in family medicine cabinets. Improper disposal, such as flushing them down the toilet or throwing them in the trash, pose a serious health and safety hazard. The Liberal Police Department will be collecting unused and expired prescription drugs at Dillon's and Walgreens from 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock tomorrow. Now bring in any unused or expired prescription medications to either location for proper disposal. Now, only pills and patches will be accepted. A Garden City woman charged in the April 27th death of her infant daughter has had her preliminary hearing rescheduled. 20-year-old Cho Mai-ya is charged with premeditated first-degree murder in the death of her 1-month-old daughter. Ya's preliminary hearing originally had been scheduled for Wednesday, but has been rescheduled for October 19th and 20th. Now that according to Finney County Attorney Susan Rickmeyer. Police and EMS responded to Ya's apartment about 6:35 p.m. April 27th after reports that the child was not breathing. They attempted life-saving efforts on the child, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, according to police, their investigation revealed the baby had suffered multiple head injuries. The Holcomb City Council members on Wednesday approved a bid and authorized issuing general obligation bonds for $820,000 to finance the utility project involving Love's Country Store. Larry Kleeman of City Code Financial, that's Holcomb's bond advisor, presented 5 bids to the council. Country Club Bank of Leavenworth submitted the low bid of 2.13%, which council members approved unanimously. The Missouri man convicted of killing 3 people outside Jewish sites in Kansas City is seeking a new trial. Frazier Glenn Miller Jr. was convicted in August of capital murder for the 3 shooting deaths in April 2014. Now, he said he wanted to kill Jewish people, although his victims were all Christians. The Johnson County jury recommended Miller receive a death sentence. The Kansas City Star reports Miller's motion for a new trial cites the denial of his request for a change of venue, his inability to consult with standby lawyers during court hearings, and not being allowed to present all of his evidence. Miller also contends the judge gave jurors the impression that he thought Miller's defense was outlandish and stupid. An El Dorado student has been arrested in connection to threats that were made against the school on social media. Now, according to the El Dorado School District officials, a student was arrested Wednesday afternoon. El Dorado School Superintendent Sue Givens said that the student is a minor and the student's name will not be released. Authorities say the threat was made on Monday and the high school was locked down for about 2 hours. Okay, well, starting tonight and this weekend, you've got the Wild West Fest coming up. Tonight at 7 o'clock, you're going to have the KPRA finals at 7 p.m. And also, Under the Stars, you'll be able to watch Gunsmoke, a bunch of episodes, at the South Drive-In Theater. Tomorrow, starting off at 10 a.m., you'll have a taste of the Wild West. That'll run till 5 o'clock. And then the legendary actors of Gunsmoke, that will be with Burt Reynolds and Buck Taylor. That'll run from 10 to 11 at the Roundup Arena West Grandstand. After that, more legendary actors of Gunsmoke with Bruce Boxleitner, Jim Burns, Lane Bradbury, and Jess Walton. Now, that'll run from 11 till noon. That is also at the Roundup West Grandstand. The Gunsmoke Reunion meet and greet at 1 to 2. The Gunsmoke Reunion Q&A panel, that's at 2 to 3. The KPRA Rodeo Finals at 7 o'clock again. And then the Jared Daniel Bands at 9:30 till 11:30. That wraps up Saturday. A lot going on. Then on Sunday, they'll have a pancake feed. That's going to run from 8 till 11. Cowboy Church at 11. And then the KPRA Rodeo Finals will start at 2 o'clock. A lot going on in Dodge City. Also this weekend, United Way to Give Tournament. Now, this is an 18-hole scramble at the Willow Tree Golf Course in Liberal. That's going to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and you can register right up until 9 o'clock. So, you want to do some golfing, you want to see some rodeo, you want to see the Gunsmoke people, you got Dodge City and Liberal. That's a look at what's happening. We'll be back with a look at weather after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV 23 with host Chris Jewell. TV 23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV 23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kdgltv.com.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
Now, the local weather forecast for the High Plains.
And welcome back as we look off to the northeast on the TV 23 tower cam. Got a few scattered high clouds, but that's about it. It's a nice day out there, everybody. Let's take a look at the readings here at the station. 73 degrees, relative humidity 64%. The wind is calm. Barometric pressure is holding steady. As we move on to the current temperatures around the region, everybody pretty much in the 70s except for Lamar. Look at them. They're out there at 65. I think they got a little cloud cover, but everybody else pretty mild. Looking at the current dew points, everybody's pretty much in the 50s and 60s. So not bad. And that relative humidity, not bad at all. Current winds, as you can see, everybody is, well, Garden City, the highest at 13, along with Medicine Lodge over there at 13. Everybody else, there's not going to be a lot of wind for a few days here, and that's going to be kind of nice. Looking at our recorded highs and lows at the Garden City Regional Airport. Yesterday, we only had a high of 85. Only had a high of 85. 96 back in 1966. 58 overnight. 33 was the record back in 1989. No measurable precipitation in the bucket so far today. 81 degrees. Winds are going to be out of the north-northeast at 11. Partly cloudy tonight, 59 degrees. Winds are still going to be out of the north-northeast at 11. Tomorrow we're looking for 81 degrees, north-northeast at 10. Later on in the day, winds are going to switch around to the east, and then tomorrow night, 57 degrees, east-southeast at 10. Looking at the 7-day, you can see we've got 81 today, tomorrow, 87. Midsummer temperatures trying to sneak back in starting on Sunday. Lows are going to be pretty consistent in the upper 50s, lower 60s. Markets coming up next.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers. This first pitch is fouled between Jackson
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
And we're back. Boy, it seems like a Monday. We're having a Friday. I'm telling you what. I can't say words. I got my producer walking under the shot on his hands and knees to adjust the camera. Brian's in here. I'm trying to do the weather. It's just, we're having. But hey, Dr. Jack's here.
You bet.
It's Friday. It's Football Friday. That's all we can say, right?
That's right.
There's going to be a lot of games tonight. Be some good games. Some games that are going to not be so good, right?
This could be a little bit of a challenge to find a
barn burner to go to?
To find one that's, yeah.
Okay.
If you define barn burner as close contest.
Okay, no, because you did last week, the Tyrone, who'd they play? Oh, Cherokee, the number one team. Yeah, they set a scoring record for the state of Oklahoma in 8-man, didn't they? They scored like 140-some points.
Yeah, we're still trying to verify that, but yeah.
That's a lot of points.
90 to 64.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
154 points is a lot of points. That's a lot of points in a basketball game.
The crazy part about that, Chris, to give you an idea of just how that game went, Tyrone had about 55 yards rushing and about 480 yards passing.
Are you sure it wasn't a flag football game?
It might have been. Tanner Hurst was chucking the ball all over the field on the number one team in the state.
Wow, that's crazy. So, that's a wide open game.
Yep.
Well, you may get beat, but there's a lot of action.
There
all right.
is.
Tonight, Liberal travels to Dodge City.
It's going to be an uphill battle for the Redskins. Dodge City's tough enough. They're playing really well this year. But then they have to go to their place and get that done, especially after an emotional letdown of being shut out by Hayes, a game that many people thought was winnable.
Well, they 29-0, right?
Yeah.
Last week. So, okay. All right. Well, Hayes is going to get tested tonight because they are going to host Garden City.
Yeah, and home field advantage will play into that a little bit, but Garden City's playing really well this year. I mean, you just can't get around that. They're solid on both sides of the ball. They have some real great strength in the big guys in the middle, and their skill players, the receivers, have had some amazing grabs this year. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult night for the Hayes Indians.
So when you come down and you start looking at the WAC, I mean, are Dodge City and Garden City, is it going to come down to those two out of the 5 teams in the WAC? Or will you throw Great Bend in the mix too?
Looking at the Great Bend Hayes game, that was a little bit of a battle for Great Bend. I looked at that game and said, well, maybe Great Bend's a player. Then Hayes comes and puts a shellacking on Liberal. I think tonight will tell us, because if Hayes just gets absolutely blown off the map, then it will probably say that maybe Great Bend isn't in that mix because they struggled to beat Hayes. So I think tonight will kind of help us understand that.
Okay, so the WAC is probably going to come down to the hatchet game between Garden and Dodge.
Seems like.
Okay. All right. Well, Southwestern Heights, they got pretty beat up last week by the number 1 team in 2-1A by Meade. So they're going to host Stanton County tonight.
I'll tell you what, if there's a game you want after that game at Stanton County's struggling. They've had some good years, but those are now 3 and 4 years behind them, and they have just struggled. And so Southwestern Heights should win this handily, maybe even flip-flop the score from last week. I mean, it could be that kind of contest. And they need that to get their confidence back because I tell you, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Fumble on the second play of the game.
Oh, for Heights last week? That's not a good
Meade
start.
picks it up. They mount a drive. They stop them. 4th and 4. They gain 3 yards. They're going to turn the ball over on downs, and a penalty gives them a first down. They score. That happened a couple more times. The only mistake by Meade was their quarterback threw a direct strike between the numbers of a defender who was the only guy in the area.
That's not good.
So it was obviously a blown route.
Right.
But other than that, Meade played pretty much perfect. And I mean, Southwestern Heights, they shot themselves in the foot every time they could.
That's too bad.
I don't know that it would have made a difference as far as win and loss column, but it might have made the difference on the scoreboard.
Okay. So they should get by Stanton County tonight. And then poor Cimarron, they're going to have to roll down south to play at number 1 Meade.
Yeah, and, you know, Meade is just...
The Blue Jays are going to come home with a few less feathers, I'm thinking.
They are. You know, the Meade team of this year is just a lot better than even last year's team. I think probably even better than the state championship team.
Oh, really?
Just because they're solid at every position.
They don't have a weak spot.
In the state championship game against Centralia years back, their coverage got burned a couple times, and that's why they had to come from behind to win. And you just saw none of that.
Wow. Okay. And Lakin, of course, they come right here to Sublette tonight. So.
And Sublette's a struggling program. I mean, they're trying to new assistant coach has moved up to the head coach position, trying to instill his kind of way of playing with the players. They've suffered injuries, and so again, if it could go wrong for them, it has. Lakin, though, is not. I don't want to anger them because they're right up the road, but
they're not a superpower.
They're not like they used to be.
Right.
So while this is a little bit more intriguing of a game, I think Lakin probably wins.
Okay. And then number 3 Holcomb. They got beat last week by number 5 Ulysses, who has now moved up. Or no, he'll still stayed at number 5. But they go to Scott City.
Yeah.
And Scott City is number 1 in 3A? 4A?
They're number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so you got a number 2 in 3A playing number 3 in 4A.
Right.
That could be a game.
Well, and it will be a game. I tell you, it will be because I think the Rudzik kid hasn't seen people who hit as hard so far as Scott City.
Yeah, he had a good game last week, though.
But they haven't seen those monsters in the middle.
Yes.
And so it's going to be interesting to see. He's certainly strong, and there's no question about that. But so is Scott City. And
yeah,
so
you can only run into them big guys a certain number of times, and then you're going to be going, oh, I don't want to run that play again.
And they do tend to run the same play multiple times.
They do. They do. They go to the well. They go to that well a lot, and that's not a bad well to go to when you go to Rudzik.
But I think that's going to be a great contest to watch. I have no way to predict the results because it just depends on who steps up.
And then, of course, number 5, Ulysses, they go to Colby. Shouldn't be any problem there.
Yeah. The only problem I could see for Ulysses in that game is looking past it.
Yeah.
I still don't think it would cost them the game. I just think it'll make it closer than it right now appears it will be.
Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, what game are you doing tonight on the radio?
Satanta, Hodgman County.
All right.
Hodgman County coming off some big wins, and Satanta 2-1 lost last week to South Central, but in a game that they were in all the way.
Could be wide open though, right? Could be a lot like that Tyrone game last week, maybe.
Could be.
I hope you got a good game tonight. Jack, good to see you today.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, see you next week.
All righty.
All right, stick around. I'll be back with more right after this.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm People are people around here. That's how it is. It's so clear. Letting it show. I've been around the world, only to find what I already know. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah. This is the place.
Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV 23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV 23.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
And welcome back. Hey, let's run down all the area teams and where they're going to be playing tonight. Dodge City is going to host Liberal. Garden City travels to Hayes. Ulysses is on the road up to Colby. Scott City goes to Holcomb tonight. Hugoton travels to Goodlands. Southwestern Heights will be hosting Stanton County. Cimarron's going to travel south to Meade. Lakin is coming right here to Sublet. Elkhart is at Leota. South Gray is at Mineola. Hodgman County is going to Satana. That's the game that our good friend Dr. Jack is going to be doing on the radio. Rolla is going to host Deerfield, and Moscow goes to Norwich. Looking at an NFL game last night, Eli Manning and the New York Giants were finally able to hold on to a fourth quarter lead when they beat the Washington Redskins 32-21 in Week 3 of the 2015 season. And no unexpected wild card ride into October this year. The Kansas City Royals are division champs for the first time in 3 decades. Johnny Cueto earned his first win in nearly 6 weeks, and the Royals clinched the AL Central crown Thursday night with a 10-4 victory over the Mariners. Attaway Royals. All right, let's take a final look at our weather before we head into the weekend. Temperature 74 degrees, relative humidity 64%. Winds have picked up just a little bit out of the north-northeast at 4. Nothing going on, really. Barometric pressure is falling. Let's take a look at our 7-day. You can see it's going to be 81 today, 81 tomorrow. There's going to be a few clouds tomorrow. Other than that, summer-like temperature is going to sneak back in starting on Sunday. Lows for the next 7 days, upper 50s, lower 60s. Go out and have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. You want to see us on cable, call them. Say, I want to see TV 23. See you Monday, everybody.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV 23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
Are you tired of worrying about going over your cell phone data cap? Tired of surprise bills and text messages asking for more money? Stop the insanity. Switch to unlimited nationwide data from United Wireless. Switching is easy. Come in today and see for yourself. For a limited time, get free activation, up to $200 per line bill credit, and save on the latest smartphones. See how much you can save with unlimited nationwide data from United Wireless. See store for details.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who do something, the people who take action, are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers.